What is happening, guys? What is wrong button? I hit the wrong one. That's right. So what is happening, guys? It's OSA Live on a Wednesday. What are you guys happening? What is going on? So tonight I want to talk about one of the next biggest issues that we run into, right? Flow. It's about flow in your reef aquarium. Tonight we're bringing on Allie. Allie, this was one of the things that she wanted to talk about. So before we get into flow about the reef aquarium, I want to talk about, first of all, September 7th.
Yes.
We have the big birthday bash. Water box is coming up here. We have a dunk tank. We're giving away a water box 70.2, the all-in-one setup. It's going to be absolutely epic. The other thing is I want to get into is the fish. We got in some awesome fish this week.
Awesome fish.
One of the coolest fish, I got to say, is something we have never gotten in here before. Guys, check this out. We have a gem tank in shop right now, and this thing is so awesome. I love this guy. If you haven't checked out the video, I posted a live video today of all the new fish. This guy is a smoke show. We also got a big chevron tank that looks really hot, yes, and a bunch of new fish. Also, if you go back and check out that video as well, the Bandsaw Bandit is at it again. We're putting in right now. So the 65s have been taken out. Those had to go. And what's going in right now is we just put in 2 40 gallons and we're also putting in 2 30 gallons. So they can be stacked on top of each other. Why? Because that means we can fit in more fish and more fish can get along. Much easier, much better. We also, if you haven't checked out, we had a bunch of Aussie in last week. That's all here at the shop as we get ready for the big birthday bash, and we're really starting to fill up those tanks. Next weekend, I won't be here, but Allie, Joe, and Ernie will be here as I'm heading out to Magna, and the Bandsaw Bandit is heading out there as well. So one of the things I want to get into tonight is flow with Allie. Allie, you ready for tonight?
I'm ready. So flow is so important, and I see it all the time. People trying to figure out the right amount of flow for their reef tank. Flow is so important because, for one, it adds oxygen to your tank, which, of course, is important. Everything needs that. Your corals, your fish, they all benefit from that. Also, too, a lot of corals need flow because if you have plating corals like Monty caps or any kind of encrusting or really like sun corals, anything like that detritus can build up on, that detritus can cause problems for the coral. So you want to make sure you have plenty of flow to keep them clean. And also a lot of corals need flow, like your frog spawns and your torches and your other flowy corals. They need that flow to move around. And your fish need flow too. So there's some fish that require it more than others. Some like certain tangs really like flow and they need to have that in there. There's just so many reasons why it's important. So we're going to show off all different power heads we have and all the flow power heads we have downstairs for you guys.
Yeah, so like other things too is also against cyanobacteria, which is one of the biggest issues, dead spaces in your spot from too much organics and not enough flow. And another thing we get into is a lot of good flow can actually prevent against hair algae, where a lot of nutrients develop and they start feeding off that. So that's what we want to get into. So we based OSA, right? OSA we have built on, we're not the most expensive, we're not the cheapest. Everything is the best bang for your buck. Like, that's the whole idea. That's why we came up for the website osachoice.com, because it's our top choice products. We want to give you what we think your money should go towards. What are the best products you're buying for? So we're going to go check in on Joe. Let's bring Joe on in here. Joe, what's happening, baby?
What is happening, guys? I am in the OSA warehouse, osachoice.com warehouse right now, and we are going to give you guys a closer look at all the power heads that we offer on our website. So let me turn this baby around. All right, the first pump we got over here is a high door. So Scott's going to give you some little information about it.
So high doors, this is what we get into, right? Based on everything. If you're getting into it and you're starting off and you're not quite sure, where to spend your money on, a lot of people will go into the high doors. They'll spend it like on the smaller tanks, or they just need some sort of flow without spending too much money. These are probably, I feel like, for spending like a cheaper version of a wave maker or anything like that. They're a good wave maker for a cheap version to add to your aquarium.
They definitely are good for adding supplemental flow too. So say you have 3 good power heads, but there's one dead spot that you just can't get. Those are good for that because they just plug in and they're good. They're not the most powerful, but they are definitely good power heads if you need that supplemental flow. And if you're just kind of starting out, like Scott said, and you're not sure exactly where you want to go with it, they're a good one. They are just a plug and play, so they don't have a controller, so you can't really adjust the flow or anything, but they are good. You can adjust where the directions, but that's about it. But they are a good one. I definitely recommend it, especially if you're just starting out and you just want to find something, or just if you have supplemental flow, you know, there's a dead spot and you want to add some flow to it. That's the one I'd go with.
Joe, what's next on the list, baby?
Alrighty, next on the list, Logan from Reef Breeders. We have his product right here, the Reef Power. And then below it, also from Logan as well, Coral Box Quiet Pump Plus. These two right here next in the line.
Reef Breeders, these are kind of like our go-to, right? These are our everyday, perfect. These are right here, dead smack in the middle. Now, I love the Reef Power. The Reef Power, Joe, go up. The Reef Power for me has been one of my top favorite ones because what I like about it is large flow, like these big, large open flows. They're not super powerful, but it gives you a lot for the space. Okay, I like how they're a lot thinner and they're not taking up as much space. And these have been like our go-to, especially we do a lot of water box designs. These have been our power heads of choice where it comes to the back of the wall, where we're trying to have up to get that sleek look coming off the back and heading towards the front. Now, another thing is the quiet pumps. Quiet pumps are adjustable where you can control the flow, and they go up to the QP16 where I like you have all three sizes, super powerful. I honestly, for what you're spending for on these pumps, I think by far these are the best bang for your buck on the market.
Definitely. I love the RPM. I use it in my tank. They aren't, like he said, they aren't super powerful because they have a very broad flow. So the flow's coming out from basically all sides. So instead of more of a direct flow, you're getting more of a wide flow. So it's good if you're counteracting a flow from the opposite side. So for example, in my tank, I have a gyre, which we're going to get to, on one side, and it was too strong. It was causing too much flow. So I put an RPM on the other side to counteract that flow, and it's because it's so broad, it really helped out. So it's really good for that. It's also good if you have a smaller tank or a water box because they're very sleek and nice looking. So I definitely like those, and you can adjust them. There's all sorts of different flow rates and stuff you can adjust on that. Same with the QP, the 9 and the 16. We have the 16s downstairs on our big tanks, and they're awesome. So
they work really well. We don't just use those for just reef tanks. We also use those on fish only tanks where we just need that good flow. And that's one of the most important things when it comes down to your aquarium. Joe, what's next, baby? What's the next one on the list?
Next from Ice Cap is the gyre flow pump, like Ali mentioned before. So here she is.
So the Ice Cap, I gotta say, this was one that I wasn't all for. We didn't carry this for a while. And the Bandsaw Bandit and Ali was the one that pushed us on towards these. And then we started adding these to our big reef tanks downstairs, especially our big flat. We have an 8x4 flat. And honestly, this did huge. This did wonders on that flat. And we also added this to a 180. How do you feel about these?
I love them. So like I said before, I have one in my tank, and I highly recommend it. We put it on the big flat tank downstairs, and it has made the corals so happy. It's been really a nice – it's long, so it provides a really good amount of flow for a wide tank. So if you have like a 2-foot or a 3-foot tank, you have a big tank, it's really good for that. You can also do it up and down too. So you can do it vertical instead of horizontal, which is really neat, which is a little different than your other power heads. So if you can put it in the corner and you can have it blowing, it'll blow your current around. If say you want flow behind your rock work, it's good for that too. I really like it. It has 5 different flows, which is really nice, and it's got a nice controller. It's easy to use and easy to figure out, which I really like about it. And you can take it apart too and clean it just like the other ones. It's a little more intricate, but it's a great pump for what it is. I love it. It's got a really strong magnet on there too, so it won't fall off. I have a hard time getting it off, but it's a really good pump. I really like it. It also comes in the 3K too, so if you have a bigger tank, I would do the 3K, but either one's good.
What I like about these two, now we're going up, right? So we're kind of shooting you guys kind of like cheaper options, and we're working our way up for what we think works the best in your tank. Like there's so many products out there, but we can't carry them all. We want to carry what works, what we think's the best, and ours our way up. And honestly, we're the same thing. We're reefers just like you guys. This is one of the things. We're a store that's built by hobbyists that's created into this. So we want to give you guys what we feel is the best bang for your buck and what we would use every day in one of our reef aquariums or something we do for services as well. One of the next things we want to get into is, Joe, what's next?
Next is the Neptune System wave pump.
Okay, wave pumps from Neptune. All right. So on the Apex system, if you have an Apex, I think you should definitely, this is one of my top ones that I'll have you put it on there, is a Neptune wave pump because they just work really well, especially if you want to get a bundle kit. A lot of times we'll do the double waves with an Apex, and these just work great to go along with that. You know what I'm saying? Like to have that, to have that product that goes for like what I always call an Apex is almost like an insurance policy. In my head, that's how I really feel like it is. We have a lot of clients that do travel quite a bit, and to give us something that's going on or happening to have all that as well. So that is another good one if you have a Neptune system and if you keep adding, because that's one of the things with Neptune, you're always adding, and that's one of the best parts. Joe, what's next, baby?
And last but absolutely not the least, we have the MP40 from Ecotech Marine. Probably the best money you can buy.
So Joe kind of hit it right on the head. So MP40s and MP10s are our ultimate go-to. And the reason for it is, honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, they just last. They last, and the fact that if they do break, you have a way to replace them. You can buy parts. They can replace them for you. And I love that accessibility, and they just work. They're a long-lasting pump. Don't get me wrong, they are definitely probably one of the most expensive pumps out there, power heads, no question about it.
But they're worth every penny.
Yeah, and they really are worth every penny, and I do love the motor right on the outside. How do you feel about these?
I think the motor on the outside, for me, is a huge thing. I think that's awesome. Not everyone likes to have the wires in their tank, which obviously, that's typical. We don't want any extra equipment in our tank than that is absolutely needed. So it is really nice to have the plug on the outside, and it's just an overall really good pump. It's sleek too, so it's great.
I mean, it is a sexy pump.
It is.
I gotta give Ecotech quite a bit. It is a sexy pump. But that's like, you know what I'm saying? That's like the pump we choose on the high end, the MP10s, the MP40s, like on the higher end, For the most part, our middle right down the line, baby, is the QP quiet pumps, and I really like the Reef RPA.
Yeah.
That's one of our top choices. And the high doors, we carry them. We try not to, but we also understand, listen, you ain't got so much to spend. You got this budget. Let's work your way up. And all honestly, you're going to buy that high door and you're going to upgrade later at some point or another. But we also understand how it works. One of the things is, Allie, you want to go downstairs and show them on some of the tanks?
I will do that. I'll be back.
All right, we're going to bring Allie. I'm going to show you guys on some working tanks, because what's the point of talking about flow if you can't see it for yourself? Granted, we should probably put something in the water so you can see it better. But we're going to show you guys on this. So Allie's going to bring up on our tanks. We're going to show you our display tank. We're going to show you some of our coral tanks, and we're going to show you some of our fish-only tanks as Allie comes in. And I appreciate you guys all coming out and hanging out with us tonight. Don't forget, September 7th is our big birthday bash. We're giving away a Waterbox 70. And don't forget, the whole Waterbox crew is coming on up here. We can't wait to have you. But let's go check with Allie. Allie, you ready? Let's do it, baby. Allie, what's happening?
Hey guys, here I am. All right, so first I'm going to start on our show tank. So let me turn this around here. All right, so look at that beauty, looking good. So right over here we have the RPMs, the coral box ones. So you can see they're very broad flow. I don't know if you can really tell. But you can kind of see it up there. And again, you can adjust it. You can do all different flow rates, which is really cool. So the cool thing that I liked about it myself is it actually has a mode for SPS mode, or it has like an LPS mode, which is really cool. So it does different kind of random flows based on the corals you have in your tank, which is kind of neat. Or it's just got like a steady flow or other types of flows too, which I think is really cool. So that's those on there.
Actually, want to show the Nero too before you get onto it, because we didn't talk about the Nero because it's not one we carry yet, because we're still kind of going how we feel about it. You know what I'm saying? So like we can't. We're still using it. We're test trying it out. We're seeing how it works inside the tanks, and that's the Nero that's on there. This is the AI one. This is one of the things so far. The only reason I think that we haven't really brought them in is they're all app controlled. And don't get me wrong, I love app controlled things, but I feel like there's too much stuff that's app controlled. But that could change my mind later on. It does work. It is powerful. It runs inside this tank crate. I have nothing bad to say about it at all. I'm just trying to make it so you're not loading up your entire phone on a different app for everything else, where we have control and accessibility much easier and powerful. Want to show? So you show the RPM. You can also show the RPM up in the back wall too.
Yep. Yeah. So we got one on the back wall too, they're actually good for that because they're so sleek. And they look good on the back wall. And it pushes that wide flow right towards your glass, which kind of disperses the flow, which is really nice.
I love it. And they work out pretty well. That's one of the things. And you can see, guys, this tank you're looking at is the definition of what I call a mixed reef tank, right? It is SPS, LPS heavy. There's leathers, there's mushrooms, there's torches. There's so much inside this tank. And that's one of the things I love about it, is the fact that we're mixing so much stuff that technically sometimes shouldn't get along together, but it works for us. And we play in trial and error on that too.
All right, so next I will move on to we'll go to the gyre because I'm right here. So it's kind of hard to see in there, but there she is right there. And up here, you can just see that flow. Like, that flow is great. It's breaking the water surface. It's getting all that oxygen in there, and it's helping these corals and these fish out big time. And it's keeping everything clean, which is awesome. So there's that. Looking good. And the cool thing with the gyre, too, is that you can have it actually gyre. So it'll blow forward for a few seconds, and then it'll actually reverse, which is really cool. So you're getting that above flow and that below flow, which is really nice. So
like Allie's talking about, I really like these on tanks that are 24 inches deep, especially when you got heavy, so that's a very heavy leather tank that Allie's looking at right now. The other tank you guys looking at was one of our frag tanks. That's a 4 foot wide frag tank. So you can see a lot of the leathers, how the flow looks on stuff like that. Now we're also mixing in there as well, the QPs as well.
Yes. So right here we got the QP9, which is the smaller of the two, but it's still got that good strong flow. You can see it's blowing the Sinularis still from quite far away. So it's still a pretty powerful pump, and you can adjust it accordingly as well. And somebody said too in the comments that their gyre is too strong for their tank, which I would like to actually mention. Gyres are very strong, so that's something to keep in mind too. They push a lot of water. So if you have a smaller tank, I would definitely maybe consider a different pump like a QP9 or one of the RPMs. But if you have a bigger tank, even like this 120 here, the gyre, I still wouldn't put it at 100%. It's a strong pump, so definitely keep that in mind.
Correct. You guys got to play when it comes to flow, right? I feel like, flow is one of the more important things to your reef aquarium, but you got to pick and choose flow for what you have going on. Certain corals like different things. So you got to pick and choose the way your tank's going. SPS is going to be a lot stronger. Leather's a lot stronger versus things where if you had a tank full of like gonnies and mushrooms, obviously it's a lot slower. So it all depends on what you're looking for and what you're trying to do. And that's what you're basing the aquarium on. Allie, what are we looking at next?
All right. So next I will move on to a Corellia. So we have them in all of our tanks. Well, most of them. As you see, I'm having trouble finding one.
Yeah.
We have one in each of our tanks. Here we go. So they are like I said, they're good for supplemental flow. It's a plug and play. There's not any type of controller, so you can't change the flow, but it's good if you're just trying to get some extra flow in there. And in our frag tanks, we have quite a bit of flow actually coming from our returns here. But with tanks especially that have SVS in them, we want to have that extra flow. So we add the Corellias. Even with our softer stuff like our mushrooms and our zoas, we still add it in there just to get keep everything clean. We don't want stuff building up in there. So
I'm going to bring up Steve Tremblay's comment, and he just hit it up on the comment section. He says, I use high doors on our mixing tanks. That's what they're good for. If you're looking for like something in a mixing tank or something you can keep consistent and you just plug and play and you turn it on, that's where a lot of times we'll use them as well, or in smaller size tanks. We use them in our frag tables because it's very easy for us to go through, clean them out. We can give them baths, and we kind of get that flow underneath the flags? No, the frag.
Yep. Yeah. So then I will bring us over to our fish only tank. So we like to use the QP16 in the fish only. It looks like it has a little piece of fuzz stuck on there, but it's a really good pump, and it's blowing a really strong flow up to the surface. So we want to get that breakage at the surface to get a lot of oxygen in there. When you have a lot of big fish, you definitely need a lot of oxygen. They use up a lot of it. So it's really been good for that. We like to use it on here, and it helps keep any detritus from building up as well. With big fish.
That's a 210 that you guys are looking at. It's an Aquarium 210. The only other flow besides the water coming back into the tank as well is that QP16. And honestly, it does a fantastic job. One of the biggest things we use those for is surface breakage, as Allie's talking about, and detritus on the bottom, right? So it keeps that flow going very well, so it gets it down in the overflows.
Yep. Yeah, it's a really good one, and it's, like I said, it works. And this crosshatch trigger just loves the flow. He's always in that pump.
I absolutely agree. You want to do me a favor? Since Vivid Creative Aquatics is on here, we're actually using one of theirs. You want to show them the frag tables, the 60-gallon frag tables, because we're using those pumps. those returns on there, and those have actually worked very, very well. I wasn't going to talk about those tonight, but honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, the biggest issue you have is with nymphs when it comes to flow, right? Allie, how would you describe that issue?
With the anemones?
Yeah, when they get sucked into a powerhead.
So the main issue with anemones and powerheads is sometimes it's a death sentence. Anemones, for some reason, just want to be in your powerheads, and we hear it all the time. My anemone went in my powerhead. So unfortunately, that isn't good for your tank or the anemone. So unfortunately, it can make it hard when you have powerheads in your tank, especially if you have a reef tank. Of course, you have a lot of powerheads. So you're trying to avoid those anemones getting into that powerhead.
No, I totally true. And you can see they have these random, they're random motions. Like you could see it. You want to lift it up a little bit so somebody could see it?
Yeah, this guy's really cool. So it has a rotating movement to it, which is really neat. It gets a really random flow.
And I love this. Since we put this on here, we've had very few problems with the nets getting stuck with powerheads because we had it happen not once, but twice. And it does happen. Honestly, it happens to the everyday reefer too, where something goes wrong. And you don't want that to happen, but I got to say, these have been fantastic for that. And I like the flow right from it. You can see all the little guys. Oh, those clowns look so awesome. But it's worked out really well. So I got to say, I got to give these guys credit. I really do love these. I love these on our 60s. And, we've had them since, and I'm just keeping them on there. Allie, what else do you want to get into?
Honestly, I think that's going to be it for powerheads today. Just remember how important flow is in your reef tanks and in your fish onlys too. I'm a little blue. So we want to make sure that we're getting lots of good flow. You got to remember too, so you can overdo flow. Yes. And you can also underdo flow. So you need to find that sweet spot where everything's looking happy and everything's doing well. So it takes some playing around and finding what you like the best. But we bring in these powerheads when we know that they're good products. We use them first. We try them first, just like the Nero. We're trying it before we recommend it to you guys. We want to make sure it's a good product. So with all the ones we are showing you today, we highly recommend, and we do sell here at the store and on osachoice.com. So definitely check that out.
And that's one of the things we do the videos about and try to get everything else is, right, we are in the magical world of the internet where everything is online. The biggest issue we have come across here at the store is, well, someone told me this, and then someone told me this, and I read this, and I read this. And you know what? I'm not saying any of those ideas are wrong, right? But they found a way that works for them to get to that point, or to this point. But what happens when you start mixing and matching, now you start getting yourself in trouble. We want to be able to get you the best way and the easiest way, like keeping it simple, from point A to point B and be very successful at reef keeping. Why? Because we love this. Like, this is our passion. This is love, and we get to do it every day, and we love sharing it with you. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was about flow. Anything else you want to add, Allie?
I think that's it, guys. Just come in, check us out. Don't forget that birthday bash. It's going to be awesome, so definitely come in for that.
Allie, can I get a keep on reefing from you?
Keep on reefing, baby. Woo!
Woo! All right, guys, we're getting out of here. Make sure you join us next Wednesday around 7 p.m. I'll see you guys then. Keep on reefing, baby. Woo!